Take a deep breath and let tonight's story comfort your heart. Violet and Susan's Cheerful Adventure. This story is about Violet and Susan's adventure in bringing cheer and happiness to those they meet. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village, there lived a kind-hearted girl named Violet. She had golden hair that shimmered in the sunlight, and eyes as blue as the summer sky. Each day, she would wander the meadows, singing sweet songs and spreading joy wherever she went. One warm afternoon, while Violet was picking wild flowers, she came across a delicate butterfly with wings that sparkled like 1,000 tiny gems. The butterfly landed gently on her finger, its wings fluttering softly. "Hello, little one," Violet said with a warm smile. "My name is Violet." "What's yours?" The butterfly's wings shimmered as it replied. "I am Susan and have been looking for someone just like you." Intrigued, Violet asked, "What do you mean?" Susan explained that she was on a mission to bring cheer and happiness to those who needed it most. "But I need a friend to help me," Susan added. Without hesitation, Violet agreed to join her. Together, they set off on an adventure that would take them through forests, across rivers, and over mountains. Everywhere they went, they brought hope and laughter. In a gloomy forest, where the trees seemed to whisper sad secrets, they sang cheerful songs that lifted the leaves and brightened the spirits of the creatures living there. A crystal clear river, where the water flowed silently, they played games and told stories, making even the stones along the riverbank giggle with delight. As they climbed mighty mountains, their hearts filled with courage and determination, they encouraged each other with kind words and shared smiles. One day, they reached the peak of a mountain, where a lonely old man lived. His face was etched with sorrow, and his eyes held a lifetime of sadness. Violet and Susan approached him with gentle smiles and offered their company. At first, the old man was wary, but their genuine kindness slowly melted his loneliness. They spent hours talking, laughing, and recalling the joys of his youth. The old man's heart lightened as he shared stories of his past, and for the first time in years, he smiled. The bond between Violet, Susan, and the old man grew strong. When it was time for Violet and Susan to leave, they promised to return. The old man watched them go, his heart filled with cheer and a newfound hope. As they descended the mountain, Violet looked at Susan and said, "I've learned that bringing cheer to others brings it to ourselves as well." Susan fluttered her wings in agreement. Indeed, kindness and joy have a way of spreading far beyond what we can see, and so, Violet and Susan continued their journey, bringing light and happiness to every corner of the world they touched. They became legends in their own right, known for their cheerful adventure and the endless joy they spread. And as they lay down to sleep each night, under the vast starry sky, their hearts brimmed with the warmth of knowing they had made the world a little brighter. Our next tale awaits to bring you calm. Tulip and Euphorbia, a tale of belonging. This story is about Tulip discovering a profound sense of belonging through the love and wisdom of her grandmother relayed by a sentient plant named Euphorbia. In a secluded corner of a bustling city, there lived a young woman named Tulip. She lived in a small but vibrant apartment, filled with lush green plants that she lovingly tended to every day. With no family around, her plants were her constant companions. Among them was a unique plant called Euphorbia, which seemed almost sentient. Euphorbia had been a gift from Tulip's late grandmother, and she had always felt a special bond with it. One rainy night, as Tulip was reading a book snuggled in her cozy blanket, she sighed deeply, feeling that persistent pang of loneliness. Suddenly, a soft glow emanated from Euphorbia. Startled, Tulip put down her book and approached the plant. To her astonishment, Euphorbia started to speak in a gentle, soothing voice. "Tulip, you are never alone." Tulip's eyes widened as she listened. "Your grandmother's love lives in me, and from me it reaches out to you," Euphorbia conveyed. A rush of warmth filled Tulip's heart, and tears of joy sparkled in her eyes. "I have always felt it," Tulip whispered. From that night on, she and Euphorbia would converse. Euphorbia shared stories of Tulip's grandmother, tales of love and wisdom that soothed Tulip's soul. Through their conversations, Tulip learned more about her heritage and the strength of familial love. One day, Euphorbia told Tulip about a secret garden hidden in the heart of the city. Guided by Euphorbia, Tulip found the garden a magical place where rare flowers bloomed, and an old oak tree stood tall, offering shade and protection. In this garden, Tulip felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. "This garden was your grandmother to Mother Ninjuri," Euphorbia revealed. Tulip's eyes welled up with tears of gratitude. She spent many afternoons there, feeling closer to her grandmother and the roots of her existence. Every time she tended to Euphorbia, she felt a deeper connection to her past and a solid foundation for her future. The bond between Tulip and Euphorbia became unbreakable, a symbol of enduring love and belonging. She no longer felt the sting of loneliness, for she had found her place in the world, a place where the love of her grandmother and the companionship of Euphorbia flourished endlessly. Within that garden, Tulip bloomed, embracing the life she was meant to live with newfound joy and purpose. Here's another story to bring you comfort and peace. The Resilience of Nymphia and Lobelia. This story is about Nymphia and Lobelia, who through their resilience rebuilt their forest home after a devastating storm, inspiring their friends and bringing life back to their community. In a mystical forest, where the trees whispered secrets to the wind, there lived a human girl named Nymphia and a true top wolf called Lobelia. Nymphia had long, flowing hair that shimmered like golden threads under the sunlight, and her eyes sparkled like the clearest of streams. Lobelia, on the other hand, was tiny and swift, with emerald green wings that allowed her to flit from tree to tree like a hummingbird. Though they came from different worlds, they were the best of friends. One crisp autumn morning, the forest was awash with hues of red, orange, and gold. Nymphia and Lobelia were busy collecting fallen leaves to decorate Nymphia's little cottage. Suddenly, a rumble shook the ground. They looked up to see a dark, ominous cloud covering the sky. "A storm is coming," Lobelia whispered. "We must get to safety." They hurried to Nymphia's cottage and secured the windows and doors. The storm arrived with a ferocity they had never experienced before. Trees bent under the force of the wind, and thunder roared like an angry giant. Nymphia held Lobelia close, both of them trembling. "We'll get through this," Nymphia said softly. "You just need to be brave." Hours passed, and the storm showed no signs of abating. The cottage creaked and groaned under the onslaught. Water started seeping in through the gaps. "We have to keep the water out," Lobelia said, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. They worked together, stuffing rags and leaves into the gaps, bailing out water with pots and pans. Exhausted, they continued their efforts until finally the storm began to wane. When the first rays of sunlight broke through the clouds, Nymphia and Lobelia stepped outside. The forest looked vastly different. Many trees had fallen, and the ground was littered with debris. They surveyed the damage, tears welling up in their eyes. But they were not alone. The other creatures of the forest emerged, and together they began the process of rebuilding. Nymphia and Lobelia spearheaded the effort, their bond growing even stronger through the adversity. Over the next few days, they planted new trees, repaired homes, and offered comfort to those in need. Her resilience inspired everyone around them. By the end of the week, the forest started to come alive again. His shoots sprouted from the ground, birds began to sing, and the air was filled with a sense of hope and renewal. As they stood together, watching the sunrise on their rejuvenated home, Nymphea smiled. "We did it, Lobelia. We brought life back to our home." Lobelia nodded, her wings shimmering in the morning light. "Yes, and we'll always rise no matter what comes our way." Here's another peaceful story for tonight. The Tale of Nymphea and Daisy. This story is about the growing friendship between Nymphea and a hedgehog named Daisy, built on mutual understanding and care. Nymphea lived in a quaint little cottage near the edge of willow woods. She loved the way the golden sunbeams filtered through the leaves, casting a dappled glow on her garden. One day, while tending to her blooming flowers, she heard a soft rustling sound. There, beneath a large, dewy leaf, was a small hedgehog with curious, bright eyes. "Before there, I think," Nymphea said gently, kneeling to its level. The hedgehog, Daisy, felt a bit shy but sensed warmth in Nymphea's voice. As days passed, Nymphea and Daisy formed a unique bond. Each morning, Daisy would greet Nymphea with a cheerful squeak. Nymphea, in turn, would share the stories of her day, explaining the magic of the forest and its many creatures. Daisy loved hearing about the bustling life outside her leafy home. One evening, as they sat under the twilight sky, Nymphea spoke softly. "Well, you know, Daisy, understanding each other is like tending to a garden. It requires patience and love." Daisy listened intently, realizing how their friendship had blossomed through understanding and care. From that night, they made a promise to always listen and learn from each other. Their friendship, nurtured with kindness, became the most beautiful flower in Willow Woods. And so Nymphea and Daisy continued their days, cherishing the silent whispers of the trees and the gentle melodies of the brook nearby, knowing that their bond was truly magical. May tonight's story bring you comfortful night walks.